It's been a while, guys. Welcome to a guide on grinding for Monarch in a decently fast and efficient pace. Before we start, these are my experiences and my shared ideas with my Discord, so yes, it may not be entirely true, but I can guarantee you at least 90% of what is going to be in this video is going to be headed in the right direction. Alright, before this video gets any longer, making it even more annoying for me to edit, let us begin. To begin this grind, you first have to grab the quest in the laboratory tab on the main menu. Once there, click Shipyard and she should be the first one to pop up. Please note that the quest to start her will be available once you have 10 royal backline ships. This shouldn't be difficult since most are fairly easy to obtain, but if you are struggling, here are a list of areas to get a quick 10 Royal Navy backline ships. Once you have the 10 backliners ready, grab the quest and begin your grind. Personally, in my last series with my PR grind, I prepared myself a Zero Limit Break Rodney, a Nelson, and a Repulse. And as I explained before, Rodney and Nelson are excellent battleships with wave clear, and Repulse is there just for a little bit more EXP. In comparison to a 1-1 fleet, you can do with maps in World 8 and Plus, you gain a 3x multiplier assuming you get the MVP on your backliner and your flagship bonus, versus my 3 Zero Limit Break fleet that will obtain a 2x multiplier for MVP as well as a 1.5x flagship multiplier with 3 ships versus 1. So on average, a Rodney Hood that is level 100 doing a 1-1 is a 14 oil versus my 20 oil backline, excluding a cost of frontline ships. So it is generally about the same, not much different, about give or take a little bit off from each other. The only difference is clear speed. I'll explain much later on why I grind this map specifically, but 7-2 is no problem with my clear speed, so I don't really care too much about it. And another bonus is my evasion with 2 cheap fronts and 3 backline ships, meaning I'm using a 3-2. I have 88% evasion, meaning I almost never get ambushed. Whereas if you use a simple 1-1, you're probably looking at about a 70% or so evasion rate, 70 to 80%, a little bit less compared to the 88%, and it's not that much different off. But if you want to avoid ambushes, then using more ships is usually better, and in this case I like my fleet for this specifically more than a simple 1-1. However, a 1-1 is not a bad choice either if your backliner is very powerful. My fleet specifically uses these gears as explained in my previous series. Rodney and Nelson are using the French 381mm to proc more big 7 spams for faster wave clear. Twin 152mm to kill suicide bombers running into my backline, and the simple twin 113 anti-air for your generic powerful anti-air. Auxiliary is gold fire control radar on Nelson, however a purple one works just fine, or use a gold SG radar, whichever you prefer. And a fire extinguisher in case a bomb do hit my backline, I take reduced damage from it. Rodney used a same loadout as Nelson, and as for Repulse, I use a 410mm simply because I do not have any more 381s available, but it doesn't matter too much about what gun she uses. She's just mainly there for more EXP and nothing else. The Cookie Cutter 127mm for DD gun for Repulse, basically a good all-rounded DD gun, and of course the 113mm once again for anti-air. Auxiliary this time around will be a repair toolkit because I fear for her safety, and a fire extinguisher just in case a bomb hits the back line. For my choice of map to grind, it is 7-2, a very good map for all the resources I need, such as coins, dorm food, and the twin 113 prints. My fleet can clear this relatively easy, and it gives an average of 570 EXP per backline ship, plus the flagship plus the MVP bonuses. So after you finish your long 1 mil and 2 mil EXP grind, there are also other missions as well. A combined total of 13 research projects and a few prints that should be easily obtained. Each of these missions are time gated roughly 24 hours apart from each other, so players can't rush it. And on the final day, assuming you did everything relatively fast, it will take you a minimum of 6 days to get your PR ship. There is no need to rush, you can finish it all whenever you like, but please note you cannot continue the tier 2 missions of a PR ship without clearing the tier 1 first. What I mean by this, if you aren't done with the 1 mil EXP by the time the 2 mil EXP is available, you do not get EXP for both, you only get EXP for the 1 mil one. Once that 1 mil is done, you will be able to receive EXP for tier 2. Once you finish everything, you will need 30,000 coins and 5 cubes to construct the ship. And boom, you got your Monarch. However, the grind doesn't stop there. Yes, the most time-gated content in this game, researches. Before we start, I don't want to hear what was the best in your personal experiences and what works for you. This is the general consensus of what works best for most players targeting Monarch and only Monarch. There is an Excel spreadsheet that I use specifically that shows overall best efficient missions to do, and I will go ahead and link that Excel spreadsheet in the descriptions. But I will briefly touch on what the best missions to do are, and that you will need a total of 513 blueprints, 343 for the ship, and 165 for the extra skill bonuses needed just for Monarch. Easily the best one. I've done this one multiple times and it always yields a lot, more than at least 7 prints, that's for sure. Yes, the down payment is pretty harsh for some of you guys that are behind on cubes, but if you have a good amount of source of cubes lying around and coins, which shouldn't be an issue if you are vigorously grinding for 7-2 like I told you to earlier, then these missions should always be your highest priority and your highest focus if they were ever show up. Occasionally you will see a mission that has a blueprint of a ship on it. These are the D missions, aka cognition missions. I put these as rank 2 because you are guaranteed to get the blueprints from Monarch without having to go through all that RNG crap that the system puts you through. They have high down payments ranging from 3,000 to 8,000 coins, but I definitely suggest you do these if you see one that has Monarch in it. Usually aim for the longer ones if they are available because it yields more prints for Monarch without having to worry about your next missions for Monarch being available if you picked a shorter one. What I mean by this is if you picked a 2.5 hour ones and then you're done with the 2.5 hours, you're probably not going to get a Monarch one. Versus 8 hours, for those entire 8 hour duration, it's going to be Monarchs. Yes! Excellent! Thank you. G missions are also very good as well because of the time spent per blueprint. You'll be doing a lot of these because they show up extremely often and generally are really short, so you can try to get more targeted Monarch prints from the other missions that I have listed earlier. These range from 1,500 to 6,000 coins and are either 1.5 hours, 2.5 hours, or 4 hours. I usually go for the longer ones if available, but most of the time the 1.5 hours or the 2.5 hours pop up more often. They are a very good time to blueprint ratio, and the only downside is that you cannot decide what blueprints you get at the very end. However, that is fine because you need all of them later on down the line. For these missions, you won't be getting Monarch sometimes, but you'll still be collecting prints for other ships, so that's still not a bad choice. They don't give any blueprints, however they are only 1 hour long, so you can go ahead and think of them as a 1 hour reset for more potential print missions. I haven't done any of these specifically, but for 4 hours that doesn't seem too bad if you can land on the purple or the gold tier missions. They yield about 2 to 4 or so it's not awful, but definitely not the greatest. Not a big fan of these. They are long, and they do not yield much blueprints for time spent doing them. Definitely, if you have no other options or choices, go ahead and do one of these, or if you want to sleep in or at work, since they take up to 12 hours. I know most of you guys are broke out there on cubes. Definitely don't go for these, only for the DUL with the 5k coins and the 5 cubes. Unless you're flourishing with cubes, then they're probably the second best things to go for. But don't do them if you're broke on cubes. Since this guide is specifically talking about grinding for PR ships, there is no need for PR guns. However, if you wish to grind for years instead of the ships, these are generally pretty good. And everything else that I didn't state in this video is not worth your time, so don't bother doing it. What you do with these blueprints is you take them to your dockyard, go to your designated ship, and dump all the prints in there to increase their level cap, their efficiency, and all other jazz that comes with upgrading a ship. Alright, so there you go. To give you a summary on how long a fast player would receive everything. 6 days for the PR ship, 2 months give or take for 343 blueprints, about 3+ months for 513 blueprints for everything, and that is just for one ship alone. Now your time spent collecting a specific blueprint, you will be also getting blueprints for other ships as well, so it is not simply 3 months times 6, it's more like 6 or 7 months for everything. If you are an average to casual player, take your time getting the ship, no need to rush because you are gated by blueprints just like everyone else. The blueprints itself may take you up to 3+ months to get 343 and maybe 4 to 5 months to get 513 blueprints. I assume probably 7 to 8 months total for all PR ships if you are still playing the game with small hours throughout the week. Anyways, that is my guide, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know y'all are going to criticize me a lot. I don't care. I'm just giving you guys my personal guide on how I do PR ships, and I'm pretty satisfied with my progress, so I want to share with all of you guys how I handle this process. I hope you guys enjoyed the quick tutorial on how to get Monarch. It's going to take me about 6 more weeks before I finish the 433 blueprints on my own Monarch, so it's going to be a while. Anyways, enjoy the grind, guys. Good luck on getting your favorite ship.